Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos. My name is José Calderón, co-host of Que Viva la Música with Vicky Sola on WFDU 89.1 FM and the Mambo Machine on WKCR 89.9 FM in New York. Welcome to Conversaciones, Música, hosted by Ostos Center for the Arts and Culture. Tonight, and based on what you could see as my background, we are celebrating musical royalty with one of the inheritors of the family fortune. We rejoice in sharing this next hour with Tito Puente Jr., youngest son of el Rey del Timbal, el maestro Tito Puente. We'll learn a bit of his life, his experience, and growth alongside his unforgettable father. We'll discuss many important details of his advancement during the session and enjoy important visuals never seen before in public while sharing anecdotes and experiences with special cameo guests. But first, Ostos Center events are sponsored by the Ostos Community College Foundation with funds from the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council, the Coalition of Theaters of Color, the New York State Council on the Arts with the support of Governor Andrew M. Cuomo and the New York State Legislature, the Howard Gilman Foundation, the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, the Office of New York State Assemblyman Jose Rivera, and the Office of New York City Council Member Rafael Salamanca Jr. Visit the Ostos Center website at www.ostoscenter.org to learn more and to view upcoming online events. The United States has been the focus of many migratory transitions on reasons of economy and opportunities. The Puerto Rican migration has been documented as one of the greatest progressions from the early 1900s after World War II, bringing over 1 million islanders settling across the Midwest, with a majority settling in New York City's barrios, maintaining their culture and identity with their foods, customs, and music, helping them to adapt and thrive. I bring this to correlation because amongst this newly settled community, a child was born in 1923 and changed the path of music and influences while representing so many in search of a dream to prosper. He began his musical learning in his early teens, eventually attending the Juilliard School of Music and learning theory amongst the development of multiple instruments. This would set him apart of his peers and give him much fame, success, and accolades throughout his life and career the next 7 decades. His name was simply Ernesto Antonio Puente Jr., and we knew him as Tito Puente, el Rey del Timbal. Responsible for recording over 120 albums, maintaining the unity of Latin music to jazz, and delighting audiences across the 5 continents, he maintains an extremely important presence amongst music lovers even after 21 years of his physical departure. Now, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? And I do believe inheritance is key. The Puente family has succeeded in maintaining the family name and talent and presence in the 21st century. The youngest son of El Maestro Puente has gone through a series of changes and development while staying true to his own experience. With time, he has definitely geared himself to be as hardworking and determined as his father was. And today, we have an extremely important chapter in his career he has graciously offered to share with us. I am extremely honored to be in his presence today, and so will each of you. My dear family of friends, let's watch this unique video alongside his unforgettable father, and welcome to our platform, Mr. Tito Puente Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tito Puente Jr. Tito.
Saludos. Gracias, José Calderón. Thank you, hostess. This is an honor to be here today on this special day. And that was a fantastic video of me in Brazil.
That's right. That's right. We'll see your dad in a minute. But I'd like you to tell us what brought you today in terms of video footage and why this particular day is so important and so special for you, for us, and all the audience.
Bueno, today is the day of my brand new release called The King and I, a brand new album. Thank you. Gracias. Truly an honor to finally get this record out. It's actually supposed to come out on the 20th anniversary of my father's passing, Rey del Timbal Tito Puente, last year. And we throughout the whole pandemic, we had to get it all together, but we got some fantastic and beautiful recording artists on the album. 11 cuts of just straight mambo music. 10 of those are slam and Tito Puente songs from each decade, from 1950s, 60s, 1970s, 80s, 90s, and to the year of his passing in 2000. So you're going to get a whole spectrum of his life, a beautiful tribute by some fantastic artists. And it's out now on all digital platforms. The CDs and vinyl will be out in a couple of weeks. And I'm just so excited. And it's #1 on iTunes today, Jose. So whoop, whoop.
Vaya. We also wanted to start the show. You had some mentions that you had in mind to make. Remember we talked about it earlier?
Yes, I would like to start off the show by sending my prayers and love to the families in South Florida, in Sunnyside, in Surfside, Florida, and Sunnyside, Florida. It's not Sunnyside, Surfside, Florida. That's really close to me because I happen to be a South Florida resident, and it was just devastating what happened today. And my prayers go out to all of them and to the folks over in Humboldt Park in Chicago. This past weekend was supposed to be a celebration, and there's some tragedy happened over there. So my prayers go out to both the families of both the folks in Chicago and the families out in South Florida. I wanted to start off the whole thing and let them know that my prayers are, and we wish them well, and hopefully a full recovery to anything. It's just devastating what happened today, and my heart goes out to them.
And we join you in prayer and support for these people, and our hearts are with them. Tito, you also brought some special video footage. I don't know where you found this.
Well, let's first off say bye. Hi, Mom. Margarita Puente, my mother, the matriarch of the Puente family. And she always had a camera around my father when he was alive. And I'm so grateful for that, because after 21 years since his passing, we have unearthed some fantastic footage of some great videos of archival footage from the Puente estate. I'm so glad I could share it with you guys. Some of the footage that everyone's going to see today is going to be in the docu-series coming out later this year, produced by Edward James Olmos. So this is exclusive stuff I wanted to share with you, Jose, because it's such a special day. And I thought the fans and Hostess College are very good at archiving a lot of great music and, of course, video footage as well. So it's a great opportunity to show everybody another side of Tito Puente and me, Tito Puente Jr.
Absolutely. Let's go with the first footage and we'll come back and talk a little more.
Sure.
Take a deep breath. In. Around the corner.
Go ahead. Same spot.
All right, go ahead. All right. You know, it sounds fast to you, but this is supposed to be an exciting, fast number. Because we don't have a fast number so far, right? We don't have it. So this will be like a finale, see? For Carnegie Hall or Madison Square Garden or wherever the hell we go, that'll be the finale. Now we'll set up the routine now. Let's go to the coda now, okay? Play. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
time, downbeat.
Let's try.
One more time, here we go, downbeat, here we go.
You guys come in.
Awesome footage, Tito. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Definitely enjoying and remembering your dad. And we see some of the greats that he joined forces with, like Jose Madera. We remember the great Louis Kahn. Incredible, incredible footage. Tito, join us.
I was so I forgot that I sent you that one, and it was so great to see that, seeing Tito Puente in his last recording session for Obra Maestra. That was in early 2000, a couple of months before he passed away. I'm not sure if he was feeling sick at the time, but you could never tell with my father. He was just such a workhorse. But yes, the great Jose Madera in the footage, the late Louis Kahn, the Tito Puente Orchestra. Those guys are just incredible. A lot of them went on to Mambo Legends Orchestra. But just what a great footage that my mother left for us to view and see. And all that's going to be in the docuseries coming out later on this year. So I'm very, very excited. Great footage.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tito, let's start off with your earliest memories growing up. Where did you grow up in New York? Where? Talk to us.
Wow. Well, yeah, born and raised in New York, and we lived on my sister still lives there. She lives on the west side of Manhattan. So I'm a New York City born and raised and born and bred kid, and I loved it. And I'm an '80s boy. I'm an '80s kid. I love the '80s music, and then we were I tell everybody we were like the Puerto Rican Jeffersons. We moved on up not to the west side, but we moved on up. We moved up to Rockland County, about 20 minutes north of Manhattan. My father liked living over there, along with Ralphie Mercado and John Dandy and Johnny Pacheco. They all kind of talked dad into moving up, towards the suburbs area, and that's where we kind of laid our roots down. And I love it. I still love going home, and it's so nice because it's only about 20 minutes out of Manhattan. Dad used to take that Palisades Parkway across that GW Bridge every night, performing at some different venue, and he would come home, and it was just a great experience living in the New York tri-state area, and the people were just fantastic. But that's my home. It'll always be. I reside in South Florida now, but my accent's still here. And I had to go back to New York to find a wife. Yeah.
Wow, cool. You were the youngest boy together with your sister, Audrey. Tell us some of the anecdotes that you cherish of that time period in your life.
Well, I'll throw my sister under the bus now. You guys know Audrey. She's a meteorologist on Fox TV in New York, and very popular. And but she was a Menudo fan. She liked Menudo, and we went to the concert one time in Madison Square Garden, and we went with my father, and we didn't really understand how popular Tito Puente was, but this must have been 1983 or 84, and we were at the Menudo concert, and Menudo gave a shout out to Tito Puente, who happens to be in the front row there with me and my sister, and the entire stadium or the entire arena, focused in on Puente, and they started chanting Tito, Tito. And I think at that point we were either embarrassed or we were shocked to see everybody be so enamored with my father's presence. And that was really the point where I realized how popular he was and how popular he left a staple in Latin music, that everybody that 18,000 people screaming my father's name was something I'll never, ever forget. And my sister was kind of hiding her face after that. That's my dad. Yeah, I don't really know him, but it was great. It was really honorable. And I'm so glad that I got to experience my youth with my father and my brother, of course. We celebrated our Christmases, our holidays, always together. And I'll always cherish those moments together. And as we grow older, we try to do that with our own kids now. But very, very cool experience.
That's wonderful. Tell us a little bit about your mom, Margie. You started talking about her.
Sure.
Give us a feel of how she is.
She's just fantastic. My mother is the driving force for most of us kids in the family and our grandkids. She is the matriarch of the Puente family. She loves keeping the dynasty. She's a curator of a lot of my father's material where they present in different museums. And she's just, I speak to her every single day. She's just an inspiration to me and my sister and my brother too. And, mom's mom, and she has a lot of footage of dad and she wants to share it. And we are more than happy to share it with the fans because there are millions of fans that love Tito Puente. His story should be told. And again, I'm grateful to my mother, Margie Puente, who just really raised us to be great kids. And I'm very, very grateful for and thankful for her every single day. So, hi, Mom. Yeah.
Now, tell us a normal day growing up with your father in my estate.
Okay, so normal day. Well, I had my normal days. Ronnie, my brother, could vouch for something else, and Audrey could too. So my normal day with dad would be usually he'd come in like 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning para tocando at some club, whether it be Tropicana or Copacabana, the Cheetah Club, the Corso, wherever he was performing that particular night. So he would come in, and in the morning he would offer me breakfast, but he didn't know how to cook nothing. So he's like, "Hey, you want some breakfast?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, what are you gonna make, Dad?" And he's like, "I'm gonna go down and get some bagels from the deli over there." So that was his little way, I guess, of spending time with us. He ate a lot of cottage cheese and with cherries and fruit. And the typical day would be a lot of music in our house. He would listen to Polito Vega on La Mega. He would listen to him every Sunday, and he would play a lot of television. You got the TV on with Sábado Gigante blasting and the radio going, and it was a controlled chaos in his world. And but it was a great experience, and I miss him dearly. He had his little quirks to him, and we joked a lot, laughed a lot. And it was it was just something really special to spend time with him, simply because he wasn't there that much. He did about 250 shows a year, Jose, and that's a lot of work for a man, just any performer. It's just a lot of work. So a lot of time was spent outside the home. So when we were growing up, he wasn't there that much. But as I got older, I wanted to spend, and my mom, encouraged me, spend more time with your father, go on the road with him, get out of the house. And so during the summers, I would travel with him. We would go to the Far East and to the Orient, and it was just an experience that I'll never forget. And I'm grateful that my mom pushed me to spend more time with my father.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's remember those moments, or certain moments that you share with. We have a pictorial that we want to share with each and every one of you. So sit back and relax and enjoy these wonderful memories of El Maestro Tito Puente and his family. I know each time that we break into a video and now these pictures, we go into a time warp of remembrance, of happiness. And you especially, Tito, you experienced this because we enjoyed seeing you. You definitely have transformed quite a bit in your life, especially in your looks.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Tito. Tito, did you feel that music was a part of your life essentially, or was it a background to other things that you were motivated to do?
I think it was always part of my life. Although I did take a turn as in a different genre of music. When I was growing up, I was into rock music and heavy metal, and I still am to this day. My father didn't care for it at all. And isn't it ironic that one of the greatest rock guitarists of all time remade one of his songs called Oye Como Va? And now after he did that, my father started getting into rock a little bit, but he was into jazz. He was into jazz, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, that was his bag. I was into the rock drummers and the pop rock drummers, the Phil Collins, the Def Leppards, the Bon Jovis, those rock bands that really inspired me growing up in the 80s. I gravitated towards that clave rhythm as I traveled more with my father and learning about the 3/2 and the 2/3 clave and finding that Latino-ism, I guess you would call it, inside of my heart, where I found my roots were calling me. And then I started, of course, getting into Latin house music throughout my career. Did some dance music, with my friends Little Louis Vega, India, and Mark Anthony, and we did all that great music that really inspired a whole new generation of young Latino kids playing freestyle, singing freestyle and dance music. And I got my dad into that music. If you think about it, Tito Puente was probably one of the first artists to ever perform on a hip hop record with Sugar Hill Gang back in the 1979 album on Sugar Hill Groove. And then he was probably the first Latin artist, percussion player, to play at a freestyle dance record called Clave Rocks.
Amaretto.
That's
that
right.
Was recorded right across the street from where I live.
There you go. That's right. There was Ray Serrano and Clave Rocks, along with Luis Perico Ortiz. Tito Puente did the timbal solo. A lot of people don't know that, but there you go. So my father was dabbling into different genres of music where he was extremely popular, and he didn't know anything about those things. He just kind of just played along with it. But those records became huge hits for those particular artists. So anything that Tito Puente touched at that time in his whole era, practically his whole career, turned to gold. So just amazing. And I followed him into that, and I kind of pushed him into those things. I think I took my dad one time to one of my concerts. I was playing rock with a rock band. He got a little worried. And then he came over to me and he's like, "Hey man, you're off beat, bro."
That wasn't his clave. That's the one.
Yeah. Wow. But great experience with him and sorely missed.
Absolutely. But he gave you one of the most strongest bases, which is the importance of family. And you have a beautiful family yourself. Tell us a little bit about your family, your kids, your wife, Rosalie. Tell us a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. Well, there you go. Rosalie's fantastic. Bushwick, Brooklyn. She laid down the law, and my family has grown to absolutely adore her. She's fantastic. She's a very big inspiration in my new album as well. And got my kids, Miranda. She's a beautiful singer. She's 14, and my son, 13, little Tito Puente Jr.
Oh my
He's going to be a cartoon animator, and they know who their grandfather is. I inspire them every day and try to teach them about where Grandpa is and his music and how much it resonates throughout the world. They're on TikTok and stuff, so they say, "Hey, they're dancing to Grandpa's music on TikTok and all the social media, platforms." And that's great that they're discovering Tito Puente. Of course, there's hundreds and hundreds of videos that they look at and watch. So I don't really have to really push them. They kind of discover him in their own way. And I'm glad that I can inspire them. And the family's great. We got some grandchildren running around here now, and it's fantastic. It's very quiet here in the Puente household. By the way, those timbales behind me are my father's. I'm not allowed to play them.
Okay.
Not in the house.
Okay. The parameters are set.
Most of the timbales that I have are in a studio, in a storage facility. So she's like, "No, cállense, no timbales playing in the house. I don't even have a stereo." She says,
wow.
if I want to listen to any Tito Puente music, she even banned Alexa from playing it.
Wow.
So I got to use earbuds every time I want to hear anything that has to do with Tito Puente or Tito Puente Jr.
Hey, listen, if that's going to bring harmony and peace, then
yeah. Well, it's not that. It's that we were on the road like practically every weekend. So we work pretty hard. And she comes with me and she's like, I don't want to hear any horns, timbales. I don't want to hear any instruments, because we do that on a constant basis all the time. So I respect that. Our home is our sanctuary. And I guess it's the opposite of what my dad did. He had so much music and going on in the house. So I feel like I'm always looking for that. But I got my earbuds, so I'm happy.
That's all that counts. That's all.
Yeah.
Let's go with a video footage.
Sure.
Since your mom encouraged you to travel with your dad, and here are one of the many trips that you took with him. Let's enjoy that. Never before seen.
Yeah.
Here with Ostos Center for the Arts and Culture.
Well, you are now in the tender on your way to Paradise Island to make this huge, big concert of Ralph Mercado in Miami.
We'll be to the seaplane in moments.
And this is Peter here, the engineer. Fabulous Peter here. He's going to make that concert sound real good.
Lucky Peter.
I'm sure did you order that seaplane? We don't seem to see it.
I don't see a seaplane, Ralphie.
Yeah, Ralph, are we swimming over to Miami? Posted, Ralphie. We'll let you know. We hope to get there. We're coming. Hey.
And I got one from the United States. An experiment. I put them on the DreamWorks, and they were great. They were from Seattle.
What, Tito? This is what you look like after what?
After Hillary.
Monoxide. So funny. Monoxide is high. Monoxide.
Tito, I will continuously thank you for sharing those beautiful moments. Unforgettable and never before.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed it with you because, tell us a little bit about those trips.
Sharing home video like that. Well, that's my mother. And again, I'm sure she's thrilled to see this stuff finally, so everybody could share it with the world. And that's my father. He was just so funny guy. What a comedian. Un persona bien orgulloso, hispano. He's very proud, and he was funny like that. And I love traveling with him like that. You could see he was a comedian, and I had some long hair going on in that video. But it's great to see that. It really warms my heart to see my father in that light, and that's what you guys are going to see in the documentary. You're going to find out more about Tito Puente and his human side to him. A lot of people know Tito Puente.
Tito, click back the mic. Click back the mic. There you go.
Yeah, to me, it's a little bit better to see it on the big screen. The documentary series will have that aspect where you see Tito Puente in his pure self. And that's what you guys saw right there. Just little clips right there. I have thousands and thousands of hours, thanks to my mother, of course, of great footage of Dad.
That's wonderful. Tell us a little bit about those last few years of your dad's life and what he'd like to do and how you spent it with him.
Wow. I was already doing my career at the time. So I think we both won Billboard Awards in the same night back in 1996, 97. So the last 3 to 4 years of his life, he was already touring the planet, and I was touring as well with my own career. So anytime that I got the opportunity to be in the same city as Dad, we would meet up. Sometimes we would meet up across the city in Europe. We met up a couple of times in Europe, and we met a couple of times in South America. I would run into my father and say, "Okay, there's my dad. He's over here." And it was challenging for me because I did want to spend time with him, but then I was doing my own career, and I realized the work ethic that he instilled in me, I now take and I use that in my daily routine with my band and how I travel and how I present his music around the world. I'm glad that he was very strict and militant when it came to his discipline of his music and how he performed. And as I grow more, I feel that a lot more. Remember, I was a rapper and a dancer and playing, heavy metal. So I had to really honor and respect his ways as I got older. And I did that prior to his passing. So the last few years of his life, I stuck real close to him when I could. And when I didn't, he gave me advice through the phone. And it was nice to share that end of his passing or end of his life with him like that. Thank God he didn't pass away when I was maybe 10 or 11 years old, Jose, and I got to really experience the vast scope of Tito Puente through many decades of his career. My brother can probably say a lot more on that simply because he's seen the scope of Puente from possibly his beginnings, in the 1950s and 60s, but I saw so much and met so many people, and I'm just grateful that he was my dad, and knock on wood that I'm still here in perpetuity pushing his music to the younger generation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of music, tell us how you got involved in the music yourself.
Well, of course, notwithstanding, Tito Puente was the king of Latin music. And Dad always said, don't touch my drums in the garage. And what do you do as a kid? You go and touch the drums. I kind of went towards that. Yeah. So, but again, I was playing rock music at that time. So my father never taught me how to play timbales, never had the patience or time to sit with me for him to be a mentor or anything like that. I learned from a fantastic drummer in rudimentary drumming named Sam Ulano, God rest his soul. He was a fantastic drummer, and my dad took me to right there on 43rd Street and Broadway. And I would go upstairs and every Saturday and learn how to do my rudiments and learn how to play drums. And then I shot over to Five Towns College. I took a couple of semesters there, learned the roots of jazz, history of jazz, and it was great because I had hands-on training. The credits to get in that school, you have to do live performances. And that's what really got my feet wet into the live music scene. And I'm glad that my father pushed me to do that. He didn't have the time. He's performing about 200 shows a year. And he said, go over there and get your chops up and learn how to read and write music, because that's what's going to take you, further. I recommend that to any kid today. And something good advice that my father gave to me was surround yourself with creative people, thus you would be creative. So if I'm around a lot of musicians, I feel that creativity flowing from me. And I think he did too. You could tell by the videos earlier that he liked being around the musicians a lot.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So from the rock, you transitioned to freestyle, and then you connected with your father. And we're going to see something a little later in the show, but tell us a little bit about that, where you start to bring in your father into this with you.
I'm actually kind of the bridge, Puente, if you will, to my father getting into the dance music world, because he didn't really understand it or know it that well, but the rhythm is there. And that's something that house music and freestyle music had with the Latino kids in the 1980s. They had that in common with salsa music, salsa romantica at that time. And I felt like I was kind of like that liaison between, at that time, there was a lot of popular DJs, which was Frankie Knuckles, Little Louis Vega, and La India was singing dance music and freestyle at that time, along with Mark Anthony. And I kind of bridged that a little bit as they were fans of Tito Puente, and they did a record together called Ride on the Rhythm and When the Night is Over, and fantastic album, really underrated record. For me to look back at it, it was really a fantastic record where they had, Eddie Palmieri was on the album as well. Right. It was nice to see the two generations and two different genres of music blending. Then, of course, after that came New Yorican Soul, which was a fantastic project with Roy Ayers, Tito Puente, all the greats. And it was nice to see that my father got into that, but I kind of pushed him into that. He was a little reluctant, but Ralphie Mercado was saying, hey, these new younger generation kids, you got to watch out what they're going to do. And I said, my dad said, hey, you ever heard of these guys before? This Little Louie, this Mark Anthony, and this India lady, have you heard them before? I said, yeah, they're amazing. Being into dance music and freestyle at the time, I was such a fan of them that, along with the TKAs, the George Lamonts, the Judy Torres, all the usual suspects in the dance music world.
My era, yes.
I love them all. I have such a deep admiration for every single dance music and freestyle artist from that era, because they brought Latino youth. And if you remember Jose clearly from that era, and I said this on another interview, at that time, when you would go to a nightclub, it would be a salsa band performing. Tito Puente would perform. They would do a 45 or an hour set. And then in between the sets of the orchestra, they would put a freestyle group. Coral, Lizette Melendez, Cynthia, they would all perform.
Sapphire, yeah. Mhm.
Sapphire, they would perform in between the salsa. So you would get that mixed crowd of freestyle dance music people and then salseros. And that's how my father really got into that whole bag.
Understood. Loud and clear. So we understand that your father involved himself in all type of genres and played all across the world. Here is a video of your dad playing in Japan. Just a little snippet of it. Let's enjoy that.
After the break,
That's you.
That was actually your dad once again in the studio recording Obra Maestra with the great John Fausti, correct?
That's correct. You know what? I'm glad you showed that video instead, because everybody's seen Tito Puente live. You can just go to YouTube and find it, and see him performing. But that is something really special to me, and I'm sure to the fans who've seen Tito Puente behind the scenes, counting off those charts that he wrote, or he composed, he arranged those charts. Correct. And it's great to see that, how talented he was, even at that tender age of 77.
Definitely. Yeah. But now we have someone that we're going to bring in, and let's talk about this first cameo guest that we have scheduled to be with us, and we're so fortunate to have. In the many opportunities I've personally had in conversing with our first cameo guest, I can't get over how much he physically resembles his dad. As an official family member of Que Viva la Música, hosted by the queen of radio, Miss Vicky Sola, he shines so brightly twice a year, hosting groundbreaking shows, honoring his father's many recordings, which brings so many memories near and dear to our hearts. One of his most recent performances was with the Harbor Conservatory Latin Big Band in a concert honoring his father, your father, as a special guest musician, continuing your father's musical legacy on percussion, bass, saxophone, and vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my dear friend and your brother, Ronnie Puente. Ronnie?
Yeah. Do I look like him? Hey! Mira ese pelo, coño, mira. That's what he left me. That's my legacy.
Absolutely, Ronnie. Thank you for joining us again for the second time, but this is on a larger and longer extent. Ronnie, tell us a little bit about growing up, and you were already grown, so with your brother, your little brother. Tell us a little bit about that.
You asking me how I grew up with my little brother?
Yes. Yes. I have a feeling we're in for a big one.
Hey, T, let's see how I'm going to get out of this one, man.
Let him know first that is my brother, and I love him very much. He is my godfather.
Oh, wow.
So, I got to make that clear. He is my godfather. We didn't grow, so go ahead, Ron. Tell the whole.
We did not. I am quite a few more years older than my brother. Actually, I'm closer in age to his mother.
Right.
So let that serve the picture. That's where my dad was at. So that's okay. It's a beautiful thing. No, I didn't grow up with my brother and sister, but I am the godfather. So is my wife, Joan. We're godparents, my brother T and Audrey. And we just, listen, I didn't grow up with my dad. To cut it short, very simply stated, him and my mom, his first wife, Milta, they got married. It was done about year and a half. So he was gone. I grew up with my mom. Okay, not with my dad. I saw him infrequently. I will, that's for another show. This is about my brother. And just advice to say, no, I didn't grow up with my brother. I couldn't tell you what a day was with my brother. I know a lot of the crap he pulled as a teenager. I saw a lot of the crap he pulled. And my sister, too. She doesn't escape this either. Both of them.
Yeah.
And I got some stories that'll blow your head off.
Well, at least give us one of the cleaner ones.
No. They're all clean.
Okay.
Oh my God. Well, a little dirty. But it doesn't matter. Listen, simply state, very simple. I went up to the house in Rockland, okay, to wish him a happy birthday. I was going to give him some cash. So I show up at the house with my wife. We went to dinner in Rockland, my father's and Margie's house. Mm-hmm. And I pull up there, there's like a crap load of cars and people all over the house. And I knew my father was out of town. So I knock on the door. Some punk ass long haired dude calls up. He opens the door. He goes to me. He says, "Who are you?" I go, "Who am I?" I said, "Where's my brother?" There is my brother and my sister having a nice little party with about 9,000 kids. Very intimate party for 9,000. Yeah. Anyway, my brother, he turned white. His hair fell out. He goes, "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" I go, "I will never tell mom and dad." Okay.
That's right.
But you better make sure no one touches daddy's shit. Excuse me, daddy's stuff in his garage.
Yeah.
Please, no instruments, no nothing.
That's
and that
right.
was it. I walked away. I loved him. I hugged him. I said, "Keep the house squared away, baby." That was only one. That's only one little thing.
One of many. Tell us a moment of solidarity between you and your brother.
Russ, I got to tell you, well, I was always close to listen, he's my brother from the day when he was conceived. I loved him. No matter what happened, him and my sister, they're my family. It doesn't matter. As he got older, they always spent holidays at my home. He was always there, always. And my sister, because they used to love to eat, obviously, they came there to eat some serious food. And as we grew older, I just solidified with my brother. I think it became even closer once Daddy passed away, to be honest with you. Things changed. It just did. I became closer with my sister, very close with Margie. I love her. We it's about business, and we just kept everything squared away. And I just think the solidarity came together sadly upon my father's passing. I know it sounds crazy, but for me, that's when it solidified, especially with my brother.
Yeah.
Well, some things come out of other things, and that's a wonderful thing that arises between you and your brother. Tell us of family gatherings.
Well, I guess, for me, it's easy. You should hear that from my brother, because I can just tell you quickly, my father, Margie, Orgie, keep in mind, my two girls, I talk about them. The difference in ages between my two girls and my brother and Orgie is 4 years.
4 years.
And they're aunt and uncle to my kids. Can you dig it? So you got 4 wise ass kids breaking chops on my father. T, Dad got no respect at my house. Zero.
No, zero.
No, zero. So that's just the way it was. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. The kids were great. Listen, it was a fun time. Thanksgiving, Christmas, anything we did. And in later years, actually, when I got much closer with my father, he enjoyed those holidays. I think my brother can attest to the fact that he don't want to be booked. He don't want to hear nothing. He's going to my house. That was it. He told Ralphie, "I don't want to hear nothing." That's it. Thanksgiving or Easter, whatever it was, my kids' graduations, he was there. So I got to give him props for that. He made it happen. But we had a good time. It was fun. A lot of ball breaking. Oh my God, terrible.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
I got mom's got a lot of that on video too, Ron.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Documentary.
Yeah. Well, that's. I'm not going to break your balls. We got to break Dad's balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have a ball continuing with the show.
Oh.
And let me ask you something. Was a music conversation between both of you at any point years prior to what's going on now?
You mean between me and my brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk. I knew my brother was into his music, totally directly opposite from Dad's music. I mean, completely. It wasn't even close. Forget about it. My brother, he was a metalhead. You know, that's what.
Still am.
But he still is at heart. That's his music. He loves it. You know, can't make a living at it, but he loves it. You asked him, that's what he did. And we spoke about it. He talked about advice. Should he study? Should he do this? And, you know, he asked me about daddy and all this. Dad, you know, dad had his own ways. And my brother understood. He finally figured it out. So he just had to do what he had to do. And then he came around by traveling with daddy, and he learned about dad's music. And that's what it was. But yeah, we did talk about it. When he went to college, he talked about this, what he was studying and stuff like that. So it was all good. It all bonded. It really did.
Notwithstanding, my brother Ronnie, I've always respected his talent and his discipline when it came to music, because he's not only does he play timbales, he plays piano, bass, and probably about 10 other instruments. And we would always have instruments at his house, and we would try to do jam sessions. And he likes rock music too, as well. Beatle fan, but fine.
It's still rock. It's still rock. So
it's still rock to me. So he understood, and me and Ronnie understood each other a lot more than my father would look at me like, I don't get what you're doing. Yeah. But we never recorded together, but we finally did. And I'm just so thrilled that I can finally say that we did it, you know, and we did it in a nice, respectful, tributed way to dad's, you know, legacy. So.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about it in a bit, but now we're going to appreciate. And when Ronnie, when you brought out this single, your brother was one of the first to play it on Que Viva la Música. I can attest to that because I was present when it happened, and he was expressed how proud he was and still is and continues to be when you brought out this single. This was a recording previously done by your father and his singer at the time, La Lupe. Right. What was it, 65, if I'm not mistaken?
Right? Exactly, 1965.
1965, and it's called Mi Socio, and we have a live recording that you did fairly recently. I could tell based on the masking of the musicians, Ronnie. Tell us a little bit about that performance, and we'll get ready to see it.
Well, last year we wanted to do something in respect to my father's 20th anniversary of his passing, and I've been working with La Muñeca de la Salsa Manila Modevan for quite some time. She's a great singer. And I said, my wife, Rosalie, said, we need to do a tune contributing not only Celia Cruz, but of course, La Lupe, who was very instrumental in my father's career. And he worked with many different female singers, but La Lupe was one of those that really shined a light on the Puente arrangements a lot. So with that, last year, we couldn't really perform live. So we ended up recording I guess a condensed quarantine version, I guess, of the song Mi Socio, and we redid it and we got it out there. But we did it, of course, to tribute La Lupe and Tito Puente on the 20th year of his passing.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to this video, and we'll come back. Melina Almodóvar and Tito Puente Jr. con Mi Socio.
¡Ajá! Llegó Tito Junior y la muñeca. Oye, mi socio, ponte a gozar. Oye, mi socio, ponte a gozar. Después no digas que no te invité. Después no digas que no te invité. Al baile que va a estar sabroso, con Tito Junior tocando el timbal y la muñeca que viene a cantar. Mi rumba que está sabrosa, mi socio. Mi guaguancó cadencioso, mi socio. Goza mi ritmo jocoso, mi socio. Que está caliente y sabroso, mi socio. Se encendió Tito Puente Jr. ¡Echa! ¿Cómo es? Dígalo, Tito. Se botaron los pesares. ¡A la muñeca! socio. Con Tito Junior como yo gozo. Rico para bailadores, esta versión sí que es un par. Gozando con el piano y el bajo, con la conga y la rumba. Y ahora con el solo de Tito, se formó la rumba. Honor a quien honor merece. Luego a Tito. Dale, Mambo. Dímelo, Villamel. Eso es. Eso es.
Después no digas que no te
A la
invité.
fiesta de Tito, yo a ti te
Después no
invité.
digas que no
Si
te
usted
invité.
no vino, esos problemas de
Después no
usted.
digas que no te
Para gozar
invité.
bien con la
Que no
hora,
te invité.
bien con la
Que no te
hora.
invité.
Si no bailaste, te lo perdiste, te lo perdiste. ¡Ay! Claro que sí.
Vaya. Qué rica versión. What a great version of that tune. Tito, you did awesome. Ronnie, join us again, please. That was great. That was great.
Tremendo, tremendo, tremendo. Tremendo dedicación para la Lupe, Tito Puente. Y gracias a la muñeca de la salsa, Medina Manuel, we travel around the world together, you know, keeping Pop's name alive and La Lupe alive. And it's great. It's great that we got the opportunity to do that, stuff like that, even during the quarantine. Look at that.
By the way, T,
Yeah.
I love are those my timbalas you were playing?
Here we
I
go.
mean, timbalas, those gold-plated things. I mean, they look
Yeah.
very familiar, but I
They look-
I love you, man, but they look like they're mine. That's okay.
I loan them.
Okay. As long as they're being used, it's okay.
They're being used, but very, very safely too. I don't travel with those. I kind of keep them.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
One more
You
thing
see the,
about
you see the
timbales.
brotherly love, ladies and gentlemen. You
It
see
is.
how
Now this is
they're
more to
worried
you,
about each other,
Jose.
their instruments.
We're talking about timbales.
That's
Now,
okay.
I don't know who gave you those things behind your head, but they
The
ain't
red.
LP. Those are brand X. See those, not behind my brother, behind Jose.
Oh,
Look at those things.
These.
yeah.
Those are brand X. They're not
Brand
LP.
X.
Look at those
That's
things.
okay. It's a representation of all of you.
Please. Juan Cohen ain't gonna be happy, man. You gotta put
No,
LP
man.
up there, man.
You got to put some LPs. Trust the leader.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I want to thank everybody that's in the chat so far. We're getting a lot of percolating commentary. Cynthia Morales thanks us for a wonderful introduction. Marcelina Ramirez, she sends her love to you, Ronnie. Loves every time you go to Que Viva la Música. Charles T. Everett says he loved your dad. Very approachable for his stature in the music world because he was so large, and he played in the Dayton area a few years back. So you did, Tito. So
Yes.
for
Thank
that.
you.
And I thank everybody for the comments. Guys, tell us about the recording together on your new album. This is your album number what, Tito?
This is this will be probably my 7th, but I did 13 singles, but this is the 7th album of my career. But mind you, I did Latin house music and dance music, and then as far as Latin or salsa mambo music, this would probably be my 4th at this time. But this was a great opportunity to finally get to record my brother. And mind you, it was not only my idea, but Rosalie was on top of me about it. She said, "You better get your brother on this album." So got to give kudos to her. Yeah, she said you got to get your brother on this record, and it's only fitting that the Hermanos Puente play for in a tribute to my father. I've decided I didn't want Ronnie on a tune that would I wanted something very distinctive to Ronnie And I always looked up to my brother because he always had vibes in the house, marimbas. And my father had a lot of that too. And I always felt that Ronnie was so skilled, he still is skilled in playing the marimba and the vibes. And I said, let's pick a perfect tune for that. And I saw a lot of salsa dancers dancing to the famous tune from the 1957 album, Dance Mania, Hong Kong Mambo. And I said, man, that's a perfect song. And Rosalie said, yes, it's good for salsa dancers. People will like it. So I flew up to New York. I asked my brother, please, can you please be the first one on the record? He was the first one on my album and the first one to say yes. And I thought I would have to, hoax him and convince him a lot more. But he was very willing, thank God. And I went around.
I ain't got paid yet, brother.
I knew that was coming. So
pay me in love.
So I had to travel around the tri-state area. I found some vibes for him. I took him up to a recording studio where they do heavy metal music.
Yes.
He went in there. He was cool with it. It was all rock, things smelled like weed. Things smelled like weed. That was it. Everything.
You got the amps, big Marshall lamps, all the stuff, rugs on the wall.
Fucking dog. There was a dog running around, the whole shit.
Hey, man, everything was there.
And he got Dad's spirit. And I tell you that I shed a tear that day. I was very emotional. I was very emotional seeing my brother. He reminded me of Dad at that point, and he captured Tito Puente on that song and Hong Kong Mambo. I encourage everybody to take a listen to it. He captured the spirit of Dad, the playing, the skill. He added the Mambo Diablo fill in there. It just made the record. This was the first song. We already knew that we had other tunes, but it was the first song. And I knew from Ronnie's guidance and what he made the record, he made the whole album guide to Dad's spirit. And I felt that when he recorded it, and I was very grateful, and I still am. And I told him that this morning, and I'm very grateful that you're on my album, my brother. You completed. It's not even completed. You were the beginning of it. You started it, and everything else fell into place right after you. And mind you, Ronnie was the only one that recorded this album pre-pandemic.
Exactly.
So nothing was stopping him from doing it. And he shined like you wouldn't believe. So again, this is the first time the Tito Puente's sons recorded together. And this is, fantastic.
Ronnie, your reflections on this?
Listen, I knew my brother, this is something he's wanted to do for a long time. And he put a lot of hard work into this. I know he's very dedicated to this. And I'm not blowing stuff up his butt here, because my brother. My brother knows me. I don't say stuff I don't mean. In any event, he worked very hard at this. He asked me. I said, of course. We were just trying to find a place to do it. It was cold. It was January, coño. It was like minus 20 degrees out there.
Yeah. Oof.
My sticks were frozen. It was ridiculous. We went to some place up in Rockland, man. It was buried, but the cat let us use it. It was great. We looked at each other. I said, tap it out, bro. Let's go. Let's see what we can do it. You remember, T, the vibe kept shaking, keep making that noise. When I was taping that song, my brother was holding the frame to the vibes.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
Kept hearing that dingy in the background. Maybe you still hear it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You had to hold it together.
Yeah.
I said, okay, don't look at them. Let's just play them and leave them alone. Mm-hmm. And that was really good. I was very happy.
That was Dad's spirit trying to F it up.
Yeah, must have been. But it was a great tune. Yeah. I was very happy to do it. And my brother knows. I don't know, Jose, if you see me perform, I'll always look up. And I'll say it. I look up. And because I look up, I'm looking for him to send it through my hands. Because I don't do this for a living. I just do it because I love music, and that's it. I don't play for a living. I never studied vibes. This just comes a gift that my dad gave me, and for my brother to do something with my brother, it was fabulous and a great tune.
And we're gonna appreciate it when we get the album. I got mine, so tomorrow, after I get settled with the interview and everything, I want to sit down and listen to the album. And ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to a video of Ronnie, of you playing the vibes. So we want to see what you got.
Wait. You got clearance on this?
Of course. Listen,
Wasn't me.
let's enjoy Ronnie Puente doing a
You
tribute
got
to his
permission.
father
Go for it.
on the vice.
Ronnie Puente. No analices nunca mi pobre vida que ha tenido la eternidad. Fue tu amor quien hizo revivir esta ansiedad de amar. No me importa de dónde vienes, ni me importa lo que tú eres, y la vida he de dar por estar siempre junto a ti. Muchas gracias. El maestro Ronnie Puente de Mambo Legends. Un honor, homenaje a Tito Puente, el rey.
Simply beautiful. I'm at a shortness of words. My tongue gets tied just thinking and remembering and listening to that tune. Ronnie, you did justice, and Tito agrees.
Thank you, man.
Correct?
I mean,
Play that beautiful Musser set, man. Gorgeous.
yeah, that was one of Dad's favorite sets. That's the model M75. In case anybody needs to rent them again.
Yeah.
They're beautiful vibes. Thank you, Jose. I didn't realize you had that clip. That was a very, very big, exciting time for me. I mean, I missed my brother. He was supposed to be there, but he had another gig. He couldn't show up. I didn't believe that anyone could listen to Dad for 3 days. Can you imagine me and you listening to him for 3 days?
Oh my God.
The place was packed every night. Every night it was packed. 3 days.
Wow.
3 days. And it was great. It was a beautiful tune. And I love playing that tune. And I just came from my dad to me out to the audience. That's what it was. So thank you for playing, Jose. Very nice.
You're welcome. And we thank Ostos for hosting that wonderful event. You know?
Absolutely. Beautifully done. Absolutely beautifully done. On all parts. Absolutely. Everybody, the performers, it was just fantastic. By the way, did you hear Pete Miranda on the bottom there with that baritone?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, speaking of people that we love, we have someone else that's getting ready to join us.
Vamos.
La señora. This Latin singer was born in the Dominican Republic and raised in the US after her family moved to New York in the late 60s. Shortly after, she was taking the music world by storm for her magnetic stage presence and powerful vocals, winning her first festival in 1979, New York's Newcomer Artist Award in 1990, and the most popular female vocalist a year later. She was given the opportunity to record her debut album on RMM Records, followed up by a tribute to Cuban legendary songstress La Lupe. This will lead her into her continuing ascending career across the United States and Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Yolanda Duque. Yolanda?
Hi guys. Yeah. Hello, Tito Jr., Ronnie.
¿Cómo está,
mija? Love you guys.
How you doing, baby?
We're good. I'm happy to be part of this recording, and listening to Tito Jr. is like listening to your father.
Beautiful.
So,
Thank you.
You know that very well, Yolanda. Yolanda, you recorded a very important record in your career called Nostalgias de la Lupe. And tell us about that experience. And then we're going to get into how you connected to Tito Puente, el maestro.
That's a long, short story. It is when I recorded, they were going to, with Celia and Tito, going to Japan with Ralph Mercado in the plane. He gave them a cassette to each one of them to listen. And he told them, listen what I did, the last recording of La Lupe. So when they listened the recording, Tito says, she's good. She's good. This is a good recording. But Celia says, Rafi, who you think you're going to kidding? That's the new girl that you have there. That's the Dominican girl, the one that is sings Maldito Piano. So, and he was laughing. And after El Maestro Tito Puente listened to the whole thing, he says, Rafi, that girl is mine. So yo la voy a padrinar. I'm going to be her godfather. I'm going to take her around the world with me. And I'm going to take her out of the tónica y dominante to show her another level of music. And that's how I got to Tito Puente and traveled the world with him.
Yolanda, before I continue, I have to express my deepest admiration and respect for you, your voice, your career. You are wonderful. So I wanted to put that very, very in front of you so you could understand that while we're doing this interview, I'm very excited, aside from my brothers here, but you are especially very, very special to me. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are very special to me, Vicky Sola, Ronnie Puente, Tito Jr., Margaret Puente. She's very dear to my heart. Oh, I love this family and they are part of my soul.
Absolutely. So tell me when Tito Puente started taking you across the world, because you traveled many, many places with El Maestro.
Yeah, it started when, like I said, when I recorded at the Nostalgias de la Lupe, he was the one who presented the CD in the Village Gate. And it was a very successful 3 nights that we performed there. Capacity, Rafi says, Yolanda, where do you get all these people? All the people from uptown, they came down to the Village Gate because the line, it was round the block, all the shows. So that's how I started performing with El Maestro. He presented me with Nostalgias de la Lupe. And after that, I started, traveling the world and traveling around the United States with him.
Incredible. What's the farthest and the most interesting country or continent that you got to visit?
Well, we went to like 6 continents with him. And the last one, I went by myself, but I went with the guys, with the Mambo Legend. When we recorded the tribute to El Maestro, Many Moods. And it was a very, very good performance there. But the performance that I really loved through the many years that I performed with El Maestro Tito Puente was in Belgrado. Belgrado, see, it was a communist country, and they get out of the Iron Curtain in that year. And we were the first band to perform there. When we were playing, my God, everybody get up and dance. And Maestro was scared of the people to touch me because I went out of the stage and I was performing all over the place, with the people and dancing with the people. They had I'm telling you, the best audience that I had ever had in the whole world.
Wonderful, wonderful.
We had a great, great time there.
Now, Tito, tell me how you approached Yolanda to participate in this new recording. And then both of you just tell us of the experience. Tito.
Okay. Well, hi, Yolanda. Hi, Andy.
Hello,
Miss you guys.
Tito.
I thank. Okay. So now I'm going to personally and publicly thank you for participating in this beautiful tribute to my father. with your beautiful voice. I'm so happy that you're involved in this album, which came out today. Yolanda was on my radar because the concept of the album is called The King and I. It has to be either somebody who's recorded or performed with Tito Puente in a recording session or on stage. Yolanda has been performing for over 10 plus years with the Tito Puente Orchestra. And of course, my brother, you know, he's been in many recording studios with my father. So it was only right that we get Yolanda on this album. She's the only female singer on this record. I have all soneros and a lot of guys that work with Tito Puente in the recording studio, but Yolanda is the only female singer. The other female on the album is Miss Sheila E., who plays timbales, but Yolanda's the only female singer on the record. And we originally would have liked to have Mr. Ismael Miranda sing the song El Bribón del Aguacero, which came out 30 years ago on the Mambo Kings album. Although he felt ill, Yolanda was on my radar anyway to record another song. But since Ismael felt ill, I thought my wife, I got to thank my wife too. She said, call Yolanda and call your mother, Margie. And she said, get Yolanda on the phone and we're going to put Yolanda Duque on this record. We have to put her. She's only the right voice and the proper person to make the concept of the album, The King and I, really meaningful. And that's how I reached out to Yolanda. She came with me with open arms. Andy, I got to thank Andy, her husband. He said, let's do it. We sent it was really quick. We did it really fast. And she did it, I think, in about 1 or 2 takes, sent it back to us, and it was out of this world. And we're so thrilled to have her on the record. Again, thank you, Yolanda, for loving Mom, loving Audrey, me, Ronnie, our whole family. You're a fantastic singer. You will always be remembered as one of the female great singers of the Tito Puente Orchestra.
Well, you don't have to thank me. I'm 24/7 for the Puente family. For all of you guys, you know that he was very special. For me, he was my mentor and he was like a father to me. And you guys are my family. You guys are always in my heart. And anytime you need me, anytime you want anything from me, 24/7.
Wow, Wepa. I love that.
Ronnie, you have to chime in on this, Ronnie. Is Ronnie there?
I'm recording this and I'm going to send her.
Anytime, Ronnie, you can call me.
I got a transcript coming. I want to hear this.
Well, why don't we take a moment to remember a moment that Yolanda Duque shared with El Maestro Tito Puente and Contigo a la Distancia. Let's remember that video, and we'll come back and we'll chat a little more. Okay, guys?
Nice tune. Yeah. Very nice.
And fall in love. There's plenty beautiful girls here tonight. So look around.
No existe un momento del día en que pueda apartarte de mí. El mundo parece distinto cuando no estás junto a mí. No hay bella melodía en que no surjas tú, ni yo quiero escucharla. Si no la escuchas tú, es que te has convertido
de tus labios, del sol y las estrellas, contigo en la distancia, amado mío, estoy. Thank you. Gracias. Thank you. Beso para ti, mi amor. Gracias. Thank you.
A round of applause for Yolanda Duque with el maestro Tito Puente.
Tremendo. What a voice.
Yeah. Let's all get together. I have a few questions, and in the Q&A, some people asked, do you think that the grandchildren of El Maestro Tito Puente will continue in his footsteps? Any of you could jump in on that. Ronnie, Tito.
Well, my brother's children, who are grandchildren. Daddy has 7 grandchildren. My brother has 2, Audrey has 3, and I have my 2 girls. My girls are much older. One of my daughters, actually, they're both musically inclined, but they didn't do that for a living. So they got their own stuff going on. But my brother, he may have another answer for continuing this legacy. I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Ask him. Go for it.
My kids are they're inclined to play video games and inclined to watch cartoons.
Perfect.
And yeah, so they're not even on that level yet. But I play them, the music of Grandpa sometimes. As far as Audrey's kids, I think Mateo, Santana, and all them are all acrobats. I think they're going to be the Puente Ringling Brothers. Exactly. They're going to be right. They're going to have a circus.
Exactly. That's it.
So they're all gymnasts, I think.
Yeah. Go figure.
So I seem to be me and my brother seem to be the ones playing music in the Puente family at this point.
Well, and, give it a chance to Ronnie's daughter. She plays the timbal and she plays it good.
That's
I remember that we were in a college in Cornell where she was studying that year, and she performed with us. She performed with her grandfather. She plays the timbales with him. I don't know if we have that video. I think we have that video. And I would love it. And she's good. She's good. Maybe one of these days she goes and plays with her that too.
So there's still hope for the next generation of Puentes to continue the legacy.
We will see.
Very good. Very good. Someone asked if a possibility of a museum will be made in honor of El Maestro Puente. What do you think about that, guys? I mean, I would love it, but I don't know if that's going to happen. What do you think?
You mean a Tito Puente museum by himself?
Yeah, it should be, Ronnie. There's plenty things that we can show the world.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But a total dedication museum by itself, I don't think it's going to happen. But it may. I don't know. Maybe he's in several museums around the country. My brother's aware of this. He can speak to it, where they have his stuff displayed. The Smithsonian being one of them. The one out in Arizona. Tito, take it from there. The one out in Arizona.
Yeah, the American Music Museum in Arizona is fantastic. Scottsdale. They are planning on doing an international salsa museum in the Bronx, I was told. And I'm happy to be on the advisory board, so maybe they'll do some exhibits with salsa and have a small exhibit for Tito Puente as well in that particular thing for the future. But it would be very nice to see something like that, as we want to keep the culture going, and Tito Puente is part of the Latin music culture.
Absolutely.
He's the king. It was the king.
He was
Latin music.
We'd like it to be collectively.
Yes.
He was part of it, a very big part of it, but there's a lot of great musicians and people who contribute to that culture and music. And if it was up to me or my family, I would like it a group effort. And that's just me. I think my brother feels the same.
Yeah, yes.
I thank Cynthia for those wonderful questions, as well as Socorro La Guerra, who expressed her love and admiration to the Puente family and to me for this tribute. Do you all think that the memory of your father will continue to be perpetuated in generations to come? Do you see that in our near future? You could all answer, please.
Well, I'll start. I say yes, only because it still blows my mind. Dad's gone 21 years, and it feels like he's still here. Yes, it's like he's still on this planet because of how the people respect him. They play his music, they honor him. And strengthening that position is my brother, who's continuing the legacy. And hopefully that just builds upon what we have right now. You know, when we're off this planet, see, I don't know, but my guess is they're going to be still playing Oye Como Va in this next century.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe our children will be enjoying the royalties. We don't know.
Hopefully. We don't know.
Hopefully they'll be around for that. But hopefully it'll go along. And my brother is definitely helping.
Yeah. I can only tell you from my experience that what I see during the whole pandemic through social media, I see more people listening to Tito Puente music than I've ever seen in my life. Notwithstanding, and respect to you, Jose and Vicky and everybody, radio doesn't play Puente music. Tito Puente is kind of like the Iron Maiden of salsa. They don't play their music, but they can pack a concert and people still want and yearn for that. So I see salsa dancers around the world still listening to my father's music, and it's great to see that. And I think in the future, that will bring more energetic and maybe the new generation to enjoy his music. That's all I'm trying to do, just push his music for new kids so that way they can hear his music.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yolanda?
Yes, there's a lot of kids and there's a lot of dancers who's, learning to do the mambo and do with the Tito music, with Tito Puente music. I know schools that they teaching with Tito Puente music. So I think it's going to be Puente para largo, para mucho tiempo, long time. It's going to be Puente forever. That's what I think. He's gonna be, because he's in the history, and he's gonna be forever that king.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Someone made a comment. They said his music is embedded in the culture forever, same as Shakespeare, and I totally agree.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. Okay.
That's that. Absolutely. Let's go with this video, a very important video of an accomplishment, a recognition that he received, a graduation. Let's enjoy this video of your dad, your maestro, our maestro, Tito.
Yeah.
Everything's on spite of him.
She taught me artistry. Oh my goodness! I
No, eso es ahí en la corte.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our presentation, and I'd like to give the opportunity to our cameos and our guest star to say their final reflections before we sign off for today. We're going to start off with the ladies. Yolanda?
Well, don't forget the King and I, tribute to a great Tito Puente. You have to get it. You have to get El Bribón del Aguacero. Un aguacero en revancha, mi techo siempre mojó. El sol ahuyentó las nubes. un cielo azul me quedó, un pájaro color oro, alas al viento desplegó, trazó pautas de esperanzas y un rumbo nuevo marcó.
Woo! Man, that's a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
No, well, you're gonna end it. Ronnie,
Wow.
Ronnie,
Yeah.
Your turn.
Generally, I go last, but this is my brother's show. But listen, all I can say about Yolanda, beautifully sung. And I'm going out there right now. You said you're going to do anything for us? Well,
Yes.
the next time you do,
Contigo a la distancia?
yes, I want to play vibes behind it because Daddy recorded that tune.
Of course.
Playing the
of
vibes.
course. Yes.
Beautifully done.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's a lot of things coming from this wonderful interview. Thank
Yeah.
We're gonna see.
Ronnie got a book.
Mucho pique. Have it.
Well, like I said,
you. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Puente
It's
family.
It's all good. Anyway, Jose, thank you and Hostos for providing this venue for my brother, for me, to share stuff about our family, and but most importantly for my brother introducing and rolling out with his album. I wish him, he knows, nothing but success with this. And we appreciate everything that you and anybody on this planet does to perpetuate our dad's musical legacy. It's a beautiful thing. And I thank my brother because he continues to do it. And this is how he makes his living, folks. He's a working musician. Okay? He chose this field. Okay? He paid his dues. He's still paying his dues. But his work here is fine. Go out, buy the CD, buy the hot sauce, all the good stuff that's coming along. It's all good, man. T, I love you. Jose, I thank you. Hostos, class act. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. And last but not least, Tito Puente Jr. Thank you for taking the time, all of you, but especially you, Tito, for joining us and sharing so much love of your dad, of your music, of culture. So much. We thank you.
Thank you, Jose. First, let me thank Yolanda. Thank you. Muchísimas gracias. Te quiero mucho, Andy. Thank you guys for participating in this beautiful tribute to my father. It's been a long time, 21 years, and Ronnie hit it right on the mark, saying it feels like he's still with us with all the great music. And I just gave you more of Tito Puente music. It's like he just keeps living and you keep hearing his music. And I'm glad that I can keep doing that in perpetuity. And Ronnie, my brother, thank you for participating in this album. I love you with all my heart. I'm going to come see you next week. I got the kids. We're going up to New York. Come visit you. And I'll probably see you too, Yolanda and Andy. So we're going to come up. Yeah, I'm going to come and visit you. I'm going to go see Mom and now catch up with you guys. But Ronnie, I'm going to come see you next week. And Jose, hostess, thank you so much for giving me this platform to, of course, promote the new CD. It's called The King and I. It's out on JNN Music Group, Doral Music. And I got to thank Marlo Rosado, the producer, Angel Carrasco, and the mixer, Gamayel Reyes, for putting the record together. And notwithstanding, I have to thank each and every person that participated in the album. Domingo Quiñones, Michael Stewart, Frankie Negron, Jose Beto Canario Meñique, my brother Ronnie Puente, Yolanda Duke, Sheila E. Pete Escovedo, Humberto Ramirez, and all the fantastic musicians that participated in this tribute. And Michael Stewart.
Tony Vega.
Tony Vega también. Look, I left out the Puerto Ricans.
The King and I.
The King and I, get it. It's on all digital platforms. Jose, again, muchísimas gracias. My wife's looking at me. She said, "You done playing with your friends now?"
Yes, he's going to go and eat with you, Rosalie. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in this opportunity. This is the end of the season for now for Conversaciones Música, hoping to return the next time. And take care, enjoy your summer, and see you soon. Que viva la música, que viva la salsa, que viva Tito Puente Jr. y que viva el maestro Tito Puente en nuestra memoria. We're going to end it with a piece of 20 años. Ciao, guys.
Yo te dije que tuvieron.
Tito Puente, el rey.
Bueno, tuvo.